Okay, Facebook actually cooperated and came right online and showed me my little live button. So here I am. All right, today we're going to talk about affordable CRM and website options for boutique brokerages. Okay, I'm going to kind of share the tool that I've been using for several years, and I've kind of grown with this particular company. I've been around so long. When they did their huge revamp in 2015, I think it was, is when they launched their CRM and Turbo Leads. I helped design some of the features that are actually in the Turbo Leads that they sell today. So that's how long I've been around this particular company. I will tell you from experience, okay, that anytime you have to change platforms or change tools, especially something substantial like a website or a CRM, when you have to, over the years, when you have to make those changes, it's almost detrimental to your business. Okay. It truly, truly is. You think in terms of all of the information that you collect, especially when you've built relationships for years and years and you've taken notes and in your CRM. Tell me, raise your hand if you're a firm believer in garbage in and garbage out, right? Have you ever heard that term, garbage in, garbage out? Huh? You'll know that your CRM is only as good as the data you're going to put in it. Okay. So, we want to keep as good of notes as we can. So the problem is if you switch platforms and you switch CRMs over the course of, say 5 years, you've got all this great content and data in your CRM, and then you switch platforms. I don't care who's doing the importing and exporting of your data. You never seem to get all of your notes. You never seem to get everything that you have on that client as far as history. You can get over the name, address, you'll get the facts over, but then you're really starting from scratch. Okay, so that's something you really want to try to avoid as a boutique brokerage, especially if you're just getting up and running and started. I of course, always want you to think in terms of long-term, right? So it would be prudent for you to find the right tool for you and your business and something that you're going to get married to, something that you are willing to get married to, that you can stay plugged in and it's going to grow and you'll be able to use the full length of your career, essentially. Okay. Now, in the early days of iHouse, they, when I found them at a trade show, went to a trade show. Most of my agents were there with me. We kind of all bought in at the same trade show. And of course, agents bought their own web house, iHouse Web, and we all kind of learned at the same time. So that was convenient. Okay, that's kind of important factor number one when you're choosing products like this. Now, I will share a little something with you and tell you from experience that I'm now shopping for platforms that are going to specifically run a short-term property management business, right? And when I'm looking at these platforms, and some of them are so elaborate, they're overwhelming. They have more bells and whistles than I will probably ever use. And it's so overwhelming to think of this daunting task, even though this particular platform has a huge library of how-to videos. It's a daunting task to sit there and think, oh my God, I gotta watch 60 hours of videos so I can learn how to use this tool. Excuse me. Have you ever felt like that? I mean, have you ever bought into a tool and then you thought, God, it would be nice if someone would just show me how to use this, right? Show me how to use this. That's what I want to know. Just bottom line it for me. Show me where everything is, once around, twice around, 3 times around, whatever it's going to take until I got it. That would be helpful, right? Anyway, and so it's daunting to think of setting up a platform and having to learn everything by yourself. Okay. So to me, I look for simple platforms. Okay. Simplicity is it for me. Okay. So I'm going to show you my back end of Turbo Leads. Like I said, I have designed some of these features in this particular CRM platform, and I have stressed to them to keep it very simple, and you'll see when I show you. Okay, so let's first talk about a few blunders that I made investing in the wrong tools. Now, you want to think in terms of what you're going to need. What do you need it to function as? Okay. What do you need it to do for you? For me and our business, our website is the face of our business. It is the landing page for all of our targeted marketing. Okay. So everything we do drives traffic to our website. That is number one consideration that you have to have. If you're going to have a website and you have no knowledge of how to drive traffic to it consistently, you're really kind of probably wasting money. Okay? You're really wasting money. I mean, because that is the purpose of it. That is the face of your business. And hopefully it's where you can capture your leads. Now, you have to be careful when you're shopping tools, because some websites don't have back-end CRMs attached to them. Okay. Some CRMs don't have websites in front of them, vice versa. Right. I happen to like this because it's together under one tool. I know there are lots of different options, and absolutely any tool is going to serve the same purpose if it has all of the same features. Okay. The difference is how well you marry that tool and how intimate you become with it, right? If it's not your right hand or your right arm in your business, it's not probably being productive for you, okay? In a boutique brokerage, right? Because you may have a different model, a different business model. Your business model may not evolve around a website, okay? So these are some things that you're going to want to unpack, before you jump in and make a huge investment, right? Let's unpack that, so that you're not making investments in things that you don't need. And the biggest benefit, of course, a lot of my people that I work with, students that I work with, is, if they choose iHouse Web, I walk them through every step of that training on that website. I have used it for so long, and it is the right hand of my business. Okay. And I'll show you my back end and show you how that functions for us. There, of course, is a Turbo Leads app. So when I say I can run my business from my phone, I really can. All of that lead generation activity comes into my husband's app on his phone. He can absolutely see what they're looking at and, respond immediately or follow up when he's at the desktop later. Okay. So first and foremost, you want to make sure, like I said, don't be investing in tools that you're not going to need. Now, I'm going to say this again specifically because going into a recession, right, you're going to want to nail down and put a stake in the ground on the 3 pillars that you're going to maintain your business with, because you may be faced with cutting some corners, and your marketing and touch points and nurture process and lead generation is not where you want to cut the budget. Okay. So you do that by avoiding that shiny object syndrome. Okay. Because there's going to be lots of shiny objects put in front of you as boutique brokerages and even, top producing agents. There's always somebody who's got a shinier coin, isn't there? that promises you that this process is going to guarantee you 10 listings a month. Well, if you're in Los Angeles County, that might be a statistic that might be realistic for you. But if you're in, Mississippi or Alabama or some hometown in middle America, 10 listings a month, that might be a stretch. I don't care what you're peddling, right? Okay? Just know that. You have to read between the lines, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming at you, because everybody's going to try and pump up the market, right? They're going to try and pump up, ways to make money in the industry. It happens in a slow market. It happens every slow market. Okay. So just be aware, right? So put a stake in the ground. Put a stake in the ground in the tools that you're going to move forward with, because you're going to have to invest in them for a 5 to 10 year period. All right. So make sure that you've got an affordable option for your website and CRM. And I'm going to tell you what, $500 a month is not an affordable option if that's what you're looking at. Okay. I pay about $120 a month, $129 a month. And that's because I have 2 MLSs that feed into my database, feed into my website. Okay. So with iHouse, you can absolutely have more than one MLS database feed into it if you have multiple markets. Okay. And multiple MLSs. All right. So that's an option. Now you're also going to want to make sure that if you've got a website here and a CRM here, how is that data going to move from one platform to the other? Yeah, you can probably use Zapier or something like that. But if you've got a manual process between those 2 tasks, that's going to be your Achilles heels. Okay, that will be the hole in your bucket. If you have to depend on data being manually taken from one platform and entered into another, that's going to get cumbersome, right? So try and find a tool or something that's got both a website and a CRM attached to it. Now, I've invested in, for example, there have been periods of time over the years where I have launched specific mail campaigns where, for example, distressed properties, probate leads, those are specific niches that I direct mail market. Those are like throwing wind, shit up against the wind and seeing what sticks. So something like that, for example, I have invested in a separate platform that does nothing but produce like something cheap, like Realty Juggler. We used that for a few years during the last, distressed property market period of time that we worked, right? When we took manual data from our courthouse records, we entered them into Realty Juggler. It's cheap. It was $100 a month, but it didn't do anything, back then when it was brand new. I'm sure it does a lot more now. So don't jump on me for that. But anyway, that direct mail marketing was put into a separate platform because I didn't want it dirtying up my CRM of buyers and sellers. Okay. So make sure that you're thinking about some things like that. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share screen real quick here. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're still with me, give me a hell yeah. Right. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you our CRM and our website back end. I want you to notice the simplicity of it, but yet it does absolutely everything that I need it to do. Okay. And I'll show you how we do it. Little tricks of the trade. Okay. Here we go. Let me go. Dum, ba, bum, ba. Okay. Let's knock through this real quick. First, I'm going to, of course, bring you to the face of the website. And it's a template site, so you can absolutely choose lots of different variations. This one is actually kind of customized. I'm one of those customers from hell for iHouse Web. When I call, I'm like E.F. Hutton and they listen. All right. So this particular website is the custom website, but all of the templates are very similar. Okay. And you can absolutely maybe beg them to make it copy this one if you like. But you've got the home, you've got everything you need, you've got lots of things here. This is a custom page that my daughter's developed. I've got a home buyer course that I use to attract first-time home buyers. That's here. And of course our blog, and we drive a lot of traffic to our blog from our email list and from our social media posts as well. Okay. But the magic happens when someone, clicks on a listing. For example, I've got mine scheduled. Now it won't do it for me because it already knows my IP address. But when someone clicks on my site, will allow them to open up the details of one listing, come back out, go to the next, and then it will give this pop-up. Okay. Now, I strongly urge all of you, when you're getting your website up and running, to walk your own funnel. Okay. Take the time to walk your own funnel. I do that frequently when we've made changes to our messaging, our text messaging, our website, the whole 9 yards, right? Walk your own funnel. That means come in here, sign in, create an account as if you were your own consumer. Be your own consumer. Sign in. See what your consumer experience is. If your website doesn't load properly, or if the graphics aren't eye-catching or appealing, these are some things you want to make a mental note of. What is your customer's experience when they visit your site and sign up? Okay, so here we have created this custom registration. It's really easy to do on a template site like this. I'll show you on the back end. But some simple things that I want to know up front. What type of home are you looking for? Home to purchase or to rent? Okay. We do property management, so we do like to attract renters, but we don't show other company rentals other than our own. So I don't have to jump. I'm going to feed rental listings to this prospective renter until I can nurture them into a buyer. But if somebody says they're here to purchase a home, let me tell you what, they get our undivided attention. Okay. Now, another question that is very directly pointed to our first-time home buyers: if we could help you buy a home with less than $2,000, are you interested in more information about the Florida Bond Program? When they click yes, that is an opportunity, and that is why we're calling them, right? So that is our call to action there. Okay. Make sure you've got some strategically planned call to actions on your website. Okay. All right. So tootling behind the scenes here, this is our turbo leads. So everything happens on the home page. This is where all the magic happens. Okay. All of your new leads would be right here if they've come in for the day, right? And these are the tasks for the day. So all of these prospects need to be touched today. And then I designed this little feature down here. If you miss putting a tag or next touch point in this prospect's profile, it's going to fall out and down to the bottom here as a reminder that this needs to be corrected in the profile. That way, nobody falls between the cracks. Okay. Now, why is it that you have a CRM? Okay. You have a CRM because the human brain can only follow about 150 human stories and lives. That's our innermost circle. That's why when your Facebook friends list goes beyond 150 people, you really kind of lose track of who's there and who's isn't, right? That's just the way we function as humans. We can't mentally hold facts about 1,000 prospects in our brain. So you have got to have a tool and a mechanism where you can have this data stored for you, and you're going to need it. Trust me, you're going to need it. Okay. So let's jump back in over here real quick and let's take a look. Okay. So for example, this is a new prospect. He came in 22 hours ago, right? I can tell, let's see. Oh, okay. Not this guy. This was for something else. We'll go into this one. Okay, here we go. I can see this prospect has already saved this particular listing over here. All right. And now here's a little shocker for you. Campaigns, email campaigns. Let me tell you what, I have 3 campaigns that I use. I'll show them to you right there on my whole list. Now this, your turbo leads, of course, will come with a whole library of email messages and campaigns. Mine have all been customized for our words, of course. And the campaigns, we don't use email campaigns, or we use them very sparingly. Let me tell you that. Okay. So if you are launching campaigns, email campaigns, and you're just throwing crap in people's emails, they're a buyer, they need this information, or they're a seller, they need this information. They don't need any of that information until they're ready to pull the trigger. And then they should get that from you, not from an email drip campaign. Okay. So as far as campaigns that we have a website sign up campaign that is a series of 3 emails that acclimates them into our world. The first email, of course, thank you for registering. This is what we do and how we do it. Here's our social media. Here's our email. Bah, 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 bah. Second one is again, inviting them into our social media world, telling them how we respond. If you'll mark your listings as your favorite, we'll see them in the portal. We acclimate them into their portal in the website so that they come here instead of Zillow when they get emailed a listing from us, right? They have their own portal that they can like listings, and then we see them and we know what they're looking at and we can talk to them about it. Okay. So we have a website sign up, and then the only one we really have is a generic follow-up. It's a once a month touch that says, hey, Jake and Julie from Prime Real Estate, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. Okay. It does not have to be elaborate. It's just a touch point. It's if all else fails, touch point for me. And then we do have a Florida bond program that I believe is a series of 1 or 2 emails that does explain about the Florida bond, because we do use that quite often. Okay. So I'm not a generic email campaign person at all. My pipeline is nurtured with a heartfelt email campaign weekly. Okay. And we're going to set them up to get some saved searches in here. They're going to start to be fed some listings that they're looking at. If they're a buyer, we're going to cast a wide net and just start listing them, throwing some listings at them. Okay. And then the task will get put in here for the touch point. All right. I'm going to bring you to a contact and open one up just to show you a completed one. Okay, so here's a touch task follow-up here. We never complete this task. We always edit it and roll it over. Simple as that. One task, we just keep rolling over the date. The touch point is the same. Hey, how you doing? What are you up to? You ready to buy or sell, right? All right, and then we've got a saved search. We've got the one generic campaign running. I can see it's run out, so I'm actually going to launch this one again. Boom. You can see this. I can see he got a flyer I sent out for one of our newest listings. And, I can see I can see Jake's work. If he calls. If he doesn't get a contact, he sends a text, or he'll send a one-off email. But we work the profile. Okay. We work the profile, reschedule the task, and we're done. Okay. So when Jake opens up his home page, He'll have this all cleaned up by the end of the day. Every day, typically this all gets cleaned up so there are no tasks. And that's how we work our day. That's where he works. He makes phone calls. That's what he does. We have found, I can promise you that we have found from experience that when we let other people make the phone calls on our database as a boutique brokerage, you are the face of your business. Even if you've got a name like Prime Real Estate, you can't tell who owns that, right? You can't tell whether that's a big conglomeration or not, right? Other than the marketing that you put out and the messaging that you put out, which has us. It's us. Okay. So, it might work. ISAs might work in other markets, in huge markets, but they might not work in your market. So before you go jumping on hiring an ISA to make phone calls for you, maybe you need to just get yourself organized with the proper tools so that you can be the face of your business. You can profit, right? This is how you function with your business. Okay. Now, one thing I will say, we did when we had, we had 25 agents up to at one point. Okay. And they want, some leads, right? We did allow our agents to make phone calls on our database. So every day they had access to make those calls that were incoming. We used a different platform back then, but we were able to print the calls that day and send those out to our agents. So if you're going to have agents make phone calls on your database for you, you got to make sure that they're not dropping the ball. Okay. Now, iHouse used to have, I don't have it anymore because I don't have a need for it, but I believe you can get 4 or 5 back end websites, or as many as you need. Really, that was just the smallest package to have 5 back end websites for your agents. Now, you've got agents in here that are still working with their brokers, CRM, right? I put that out on a post, and I'm going to speak really directly to you. If you plan on ever having your own brokerage business, you need to invest this year, this month, this week in your own tools, okay? Because it will make your transition all the smoother, okay? You should be definitely working with your own tools and investing in your own, because you're going to take that with you. And like I said earlier, you're not going to want that data to be mixed or mingled. Your buyers and sellers, your closed customers are your core business that comes with you when you set up your own brokerage, okay? So don't be left standing there with your pants down using your broker's CRM forever, okay? If you're just getting started, that's where you're at. But the minute you have the ability to afford and invest in your own tools, your own data that comes with you wherever you go, that's your first level up in your business, okay? All right, so there's that, okay? And, if you're a boutique brokerage and, we're 5 and under, a boutique brokerage is 5 and under, if you're a family-owned business, that makes it really comfortable, right? You're investing in a tool that's going to be there for eternity for the most part. And you've got some features and benefits that you can offer an agent that's just going to get started. Just let them get started with you. But they absolutely need to be investing in their own tools as well. Okay? So encourage that as soon as you can. All right, any questions? Let me see. I've got some comments here, so let me see what we got going on. Hey Tara, how are you? Mike, what you got to say? Which websites? I use iHouse Web, and I will drop a referral link, an affiliate link in the comments when I finish here too. That's what I was just featuring here. Well, that's the truth, but you didn't hear me say that. especially if you are with a franchise or anything that is on the New York Stock Exchange. I promise you, your database is being collected on the back end. Okay. I don't care what they tell you, that they're in the data business, and he who controls the data controls the gold. Okay. Don't ever underestimate the value of your data. Okay. All the clients that you have ever touched in your career should be in your circle. Now that's a huge endeavor. I can tell you it's probably an impossibility. I wish I can think of all the people that I've done business with, and I don't, typically that's happened when we switched a platform where we've dropped some people off, and inadvertently or not inadvertently sometimes, but there's no way you can probably get everyone, but it's all about the data. You're going to want to keep as many as you can. We have 1,000 prospects in our turbo leads right now, but I've had that up to 5,000 before. Okay. So, it's what you can logistically work with as well. And the tool will make it possible for you to be functioning like a lean, mean machine. If it's not on your homepage, you don't worry about it that day, right? You don't worry about it that day. And that is your tickle file. You work that homepage, and then you move on to the next thing that you need to get done in your business. But you know that your calls have been made, because I will promise you, if you're not making your calls, that's where your business is going to falter. I don't care who you are, how long you've been in business. Today, we still pound the phones. Everything that you do in your business can be done on the phone, just about. Right? Just about, right? So, all the miseries of the world could probably be resolved if we would all just communicate and talk, right? So we're a big advocate for making the phone calls. We're a big advocate for answering our phones, right? It costs a lot of money to make that phone ring. You better be answering it. I don't care if you think it's spam. I don't care if it's somebody you don't think you want to deal with at the moment. Trust me, we feel like that too. Sometimes it's like, I know it's going to be somebody I got to talk to about this listing, and I really don't want to take this call right now. But in a split second, we change our attitude and we take that call, and it usually works out for the best. Take the calls. It costs a lot of money to make that phone ring, right? Do not, I don't care what, that's entirely up to you, but that's the way we've functioned our entire career. I have taken phone calls on Thanksgiving Day. I'm sitting around watching a turkey in the oven. I answer my phone. I got a buyer on Thanksgiving Day just by answering the phone. I didn't have to jump out and go show property, but I answered the phone. I solidified the relationship. I closed that transaction. You know what I'm saying? But had I let that phone call go to voicemail, I remember distinctly, they laughed and they said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're answering your phone." Of course I'm answering my phone. There are moments when I can't, but if I can, we will. All right? We've been known to throw our cell phones across the room at each other because I'm on another call. Here, answer this one, right? All right. All right. Any other questions? I'm here for a few minutes right now. I'm just babbling. Any other questions? Your CRM is your backbone to your business. I don't care if you're an agent or a small boutique brokerage, right? It's the backbone, especially when you're just starting out. You probably still have to compete or at least sell, right? It's nice if you want to sit back and just let your agents do that, but you can't do that. You just can't, not unless you've got some big pockets to ride the waves, that's it. All right. unless you've got multiple streams of income. That's my philosophy, right? Okay, Tara, what do you got here? Let's see. Work when others answer. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's not always easy when you got kids and, you're trying to have some family time. I get it. I really do. And everybody's got different priorities. But I'll be honest with you, our kids were born and raised in this business. I mean, we started our business, the 6 months after we got married. So our kids were born and raised in this business. They knew which side of their bread got buttered. You know what I mean? They knew where the money came from. Okay. They knew that mommy and daddy had somehow had a more flexible schedule than most of the mommies and daddies, because mommy and daddy always got to go to a field trip. Mommy and daddy might have had to take a phone call periodically, but they were there. Okay. That's what my kids knew. And they understood that when a phone call came in, that they needed to be quiet because mommy and daddy are on the phone, right? This is just the way they were raised. Today, both of them are entrepreneurs, both of them. Okay. So they'll understand, especially if they know that's where the money comes from. Trust me, they are very smart. All right. Anything else? Anything else? But I'll tell you, I mean, the iHouse Web and the Turbo Leads have been an excellent, affordable tool for years for me. No need to jump ship or go and chase a shiny object. It does everything I need it to do, right? It puts that touch point in, puts my homepage up, gives me a list of calls that need to be made that day. And you just, you work your way through that database, and you have to make sure that every single contact in your database has a clean profile. All right. That is the most important thing. Let me share screen real quick here. I'll show you a little trick that I put into this Turbo Leads for that specific reason. Okay. When they first developed, this was a feature that I made them add, this little next button up here. So when I go to my contacts and I want to go alphabetically, I can just click next, next, and next, okay, without having to go out and into each profile to audit it, right? Because when you dump your data in here, that's the first thing you got to do is do a complete audit scrub of each and every profile. We make sure that each and every profile has a follow-up task, has a saved search. That's the carrot. That's the carrot. Okay. And of course has, their communication log, their email plans, whatever they're going to be launched, and the contact status and the tag. All right. So that's a complete profile for us. And that customer is never going to fall through the cracks. All right. If I didn't have this task created, I would never see this profile again. Okay. You can't just put clients in your CRM and never call them again. If you're never going to call them again, then don't bother. Okay. And then I have a lot of students will ask me, well, what do you say when you call them? What do you say? I mean, how do you make these phone calls, right? How do you make these phone calls? Well, I mean, they're getting listings from you. They should be getting, you've got a safe search. You've got listings set up, right? They should be on your email list. Typically, Jake will say, hey, it's Jake again with Prime Real Estate. Just checking to make sure you're getting the listings I'm still sending you. You still looking? You're still in the market? What are you doing? You're either buying or selling. Everybody is either buying, selling, or doing something, right? You've got a roof. They've got a roof over their head. Right? These are the conversations that everybody is looking for, that you probably, if you had them all in one platform, you would be making these phone calls warm phone calls, not cold phone calls. But statistically, what are you going to get? A voicemail. So, hey, real quick, what's your elevator speech? You got to have an elevator speech. Hey, this is Jake from Prime Real Estate. Just checking to make sure you're getting the listings we're still sending you. Let me know if there's anything we can do for you. If you want to jump on Facebook and visit our Homebuyer Resources group, we share a lot of information in there. Anything. It's an elevator speech. And then boom, he drops a text or he drops an email. Hey, I just left you a message. Let me know if there's anything you need. We're still here for you. I promise you, we have had multiple clients over the years that have come up and said, hey, you know what? I've been getting listings from you for 2 years. 2 years you've been calling upon me. I'm ready to buy a house now. I'm ready to buy a house. I've had people that have come up and said that have relatives that are realtors. I'm buying from you because you called upon me for the last 2 years. Okay. The journey to buy a piece of real estate is long for most people. And an internet lead starts shopping 6 to 12 months before they're ready to pull the trigger. All right. So you have to understand the psychology that's happening in your consumers' minds and have mechanisms and tools in place that allow you to have them in your world as long as it takes until they're ready. That's how you will always have business, you know? That's what I say. You know what I'm saying? If I'm slow, I know it's because I didn't make phone calls probably 6 weeks ago for whatever reason. Otherwise, you've got a steady flow, right? You got a steady flow. But you have to understand, if you take 1 week off, you lose 6 weeks momentum. Okay? That's why when we go on vacation, we pump up our marketing budget just so it has some rhythm by the time we come back. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you go. I've been babbling a long time. Long time. Okay, good. Your CRM does not do that. And I have to go each time and try to, yes, we started out, I think, 22 years ago, and we started using the ACT software. Now, let me tell you what, that was just nothing but an electronic Rolodex, if you know what a Rolodex is, right? If something doesn't tag you and notify you for the next touch, that's a big bone of contention for the tool that you're using. Okay. Make sure that you've got the ability to give it yourself a notification for that touch point. Even in my send out cards, when I send 5 note cards a day, I've got a system. I get a notification. It's time to send that card. All right. So I'm going to let you go. All right. Hope that helps. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.